Sure.
All right. Welcome. My name is Dominic Gabari, and this is my co-host, Jolie and Eddie.
Hi.
And we got a special guest today with us, Bob.
What's up?
And this is the SWB podcast. We are on week 9. We have our first owner to miss the playoffs this year, so we might have a couple different questions for him. But we'll start off with our normal questions, and then we'll get to the hard-hitting questions here for Bob. So Bob, can you tell us what's your greatest memory of the league?
Greatest memory, I would have to say, would be the drafts.
Yeah.
Just be the drafts. Kiefer showing up to B-dubs, barely alive, and somehow pulling everything off. And then obviously last year, Chase cheating death, and somehow managing to still get his whole team drafted. So,
and taking last place.
Someone has to fill the spot in the league,
right.
So it's much appreciated. But yeah, just the drafts, those are the best.
Yeah, the Harry Buff has been a pretty popular answer for most owners so far. Oh yeah, B-Dubs, not Harry Buff.
Yeah, come on, Dom.
Sorry.
Were you nervous? You never done this before?
I just don't know where to look. I look at myself to look at you. I look at Bob. I feel like I'm always staring down because Bob's there on the bottom of my screen.
Is it my headphones? You like them?
It's not the headphones are they're working for you.
I can't move too much because then it throws my stadium view back. So
let's move on.
Let's move on to 2. Obviously, we're going to alternate here, Bob. This has been a popular question, and I don't know if you've had an opportunity to listen to some of the podcasts, but now's your chance to kind of rebuttal to the guys that answered. One of them is actually the host here to throw you out of the league. So with that being said,
did you
go ahead, Bob?
I'm not at the liberty to say who said who. I mean, you want to go back and listen to the podcast? I think we're at 4 votes to kick Kiefer out. We're at 2 or 3 to kick you out and 1 for ammo.
Okay.
Just remember, nobody's actually getting kicked out. It was just these are hypotheticals.
Are they? You've been tallying and keeping track of it, and then you're putting a presentation
just
together.
So nobody feels bad, because I think Kiefer wouldn't give us an answer because he didn't want to hurt someone's feeling. I'm like, everybody else is giving us answers, and most of them want you out, Mike. So just say a name.
So, Bob,
Kiefer's the easy one because he is the most competitive, but it's not a bad thing. I think Dom would probably be a popular answer because of all the shit talking, but that's what I think a lot of people look forward to.
I mean, I like to keep it spicy.
So who you going with, Bob? Who you throwing out of the league?
Ammo seems to just get angry. Everyone else kind of laughs, but Ammo seems like he legitimately gets mad.
Takes it personal a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
It seems like sometimes.
I could see that.
Get thrown out of the league. I guess I would go Kiefer just because of the
there you go. We got majority by Keith.
The argumentative nature. But I love him. But I think he would if you had a gun in my head and I had to pick one, it'd be Mike. Sorry, Mike, love you.
So is that 5 for Mike?
Yeah, Mike's getting used to it.
1 more and that's majority, right? Is that how that works?
No, all of a sudden they want unanimous decisions.
Yeah, that's the new thing.
So here you go, Bob. Are we the only 3 married right now, right? Got a couple engaged. A couple more engaged. Nobody else married. We're the only married ones.
Right.
So this is a question. It goes, has a spouse or significant other ever had any effect or influence on your team's performance?
Yeah, when I saw that question, I don't quite know what you mean by that.
I mean, it could be good or bad. You know, is Kath over there helping you? Is she checking your lineup? Is she going, Bob, how do you not see this guy sitting on the waiver wire? Or is she like, Bob, quit playing with your phone? But you're like, come on, it's 12:50. I got to set my lineup. And she's like, get off the phone. We got things to do. We're going apple picking. Screw your lineup.
I think the Kath's extent of, and we're in a family league together, and she drafts her teams based on the most ghetto names she could find. So she has fun with it. But as far as her helping me, no, she's usually asking me who I know, and you guys know I don't follow it nearly like you guys do. So the only time it's ever affected us is when we're traveling, and Dom crucified me one time because we were on the West Coast and there was like a game in London, which West Coast time means it started at like 4 a.m. and I left the tight end on the bench or something, and I don't know, acted like I was trying to murder his firstborn son or something.
I mean, I was probably just trying to help. I mean, I'm
No,
always
you're
trying.
always the first to let me know.
I'm trying to get a hold of people.
Kick.
I don't want to be that guy. Be like,
Unless you're playing Dom, he's not going to say anything.
yeah.
Well, no, I think I was playing Dom, and he texted me like 1 minute after kickoff, like, "Hey, asshole."
Yep, that sounds
I
right.
might have.
Try to fill a roster, which fair enough. You know, it's your prerogative.
I mean, I didn't want to win that way. They're gonna tell me I'm just stealing wins from people.
Yeah, that's fair.
And are you?
Most of my wins have come from Bob and Chase. I've run the numbers. I'm 9-1 against Chase and 8-3 against Bob. That's just.
What are our points all time? And I'm asking, I don't know.
Joe has those. I think he's got you at.
Bob, I think you're points against or points for.
Points 4. Is he at the
Like
bottom?
my points 4 compared to Dom's points 4.
I'll pull it up for you
I-
really quick.
He can get it.
I'll get it for
I'll
the
ask the next
podcast.
question while you look it up.
I don't mean to put you on the spot.
No, you're fine.
I've got them readily available.
This next question will kind of go into what we were talking about. So, knowing your record against me, who would you consider to be one of your toughest opponents, and who would you consider to be one of your not your weakest, but the guy you want to see twice? So when Joe's setting that lineup and you know you're gonna have to play somebody twice, who do you not want to see, and who do you want to see? Like,
I don't want to see. Well, Dom, I know you've beaten me a lot. I know that because you always let me know. So thank you. Kiefer just always has a trade going on, and he knows. You know, he signs up for all the podcasts and videos and gets all the information. So I always feel like he's among the most prepared.
overwhelming.
I don't know if it's overwhelming. It's just I know he's never not setting a lineup, right?
Right.
So, like I know that like Dean and Dave have gotten better, but for a while there, when they were like doing all their super crazy hunting trips, they would be able to set their lineup. So sometimes you get a less prepared opponent during those weeks.
Got it, Dean and Dave there
Oh,
with Ross.
Certainly not meant to be a shot because I've probably done it more than any of them. But
we'll check the records on that too. Joe keeps track of everything.
So do you want the points for really quick?
Sure.
All right, Dominic Ribari has 10,000, roughly 300, so he's at 10,300, and Bobby sits at 10,056. So there's a couple hundred in disparity there.
All right, Dom. Fair enough.
All right.
Yeah, I don't enjoy playing you because it always seems like you end up beating me, and you always talk a lot of shit. So
I'm just trying. Like I said, I want to bring the excitement. When I do have my opponents that don't want to talk, and they don't. I mean, Chase won't say anything. Like I can't even like bait him into saying something because he believes in jinx. So like if he was up by like 60 on Sunday night, he still won't respond to me because
you won't even say anything.
he'll just sit there and then he'll watch Monday night and he'll be like, "Oh God," I'm like, "Chase, you're talking all that shit," and then he would just stop.
Ammo and I is aggressive. I think Ammo can be to others for whatever reason. He's always like, "Bob, I can't be mean to you," and we always just end up talking, not fantasy football, but just whoever the Browns lost to and why and all that stuff.
What are you doing there, Dom?
I get a little background there.
I see you moving or something.
Background check. feel like a corner showing over here.
Is there an earthquake going on?
Yeah,
the bar is
bar are
falling
you at?
over. All the TVs.
So Bob, who's your I guess who do you look forward to playing? If Kiefer's your toughest.
I look forward to playing Dom. Well, I just said it. I look forward to playing Ammo because I feel like as aggressive as he can be to others, me and him always have good banter back and forth. I don't really give you enough shit back, Dom, so maybe that's what I'll put on my list of things to do this year.
Sure, I appreciate that.
Yeah, well, I know it's all in good fun. It's all part of the game.
Because that's what I'm looking for. I mean, what good's winning if no one's talking to me?
So, Dom, this is your favorite question. Do you want to ask it or do you want me to ask it?
No, you can take it. I don't want to ask 3 questions in a row.
Well, we usually hit on something about this before we actually get to the question, and we already actually have. This is the Chase McCune question. God forbid, Bob, you can't be at the draft next year, and you have an emergency or in a crisis where you can't draft your team.
Yep.
Who do you have in place to draft your team next year for you?
That's a great question. I would like to say Kat would do it, but chances are if it was an emergency, she would be more concerned about making sure I'm alive than, if I should take Christian McCaffrey for the 3rd straight year. So the honest answer is I don't have anyone in place right now. I would probably call – Roger, my brother-in-law, is really into fantasy football. He's one of the most knowledgeable people outside of our league that I would call. That's probably what I would say. Because I can't ask any of you to do it because you have –
Yeah, that's against the rules.
Yeah, because you have skin in the game. So probably my brother-in-law, Roger, because he's in a couple different leagues and he's always reading about it and stuff.
And is he familiar with an auction draft? You think? Because I don't think Anthony was this year.
Yeah, no idea.
I doubt he is.
You might want to catch him up to speed on that.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't see myself having to miss.
All right. So we had our spring meeting here the other day, and we talked.
Sorry, I missed it, by the way.
It's all right. Some people got work, and sorry, Emil had to call you. He was making us think about the expansion.
I'm interested to hear the background of it.
Right. He really put you on the spot because, without the power of the PowerPoint, which we've all seen Kiefer persuade the change of the league with his PowerPoint, and Joe spent some good time putting his PowerPoint, and he flipped 3 more owners with just his PowerPoint. So Ammo calling you and putting you on the spot like that, totally unacceptable.
Joe, you made the PowerPoint?
Yeah, I spent not much time putting it together, but I did put a PowerPoint together there's a few outsiders that they're constantly knocking at the gates of the SWB Fantasy Football League. And I figured, hey, why not? So there are some benefits, I think.
I did read through it, but it was unfortunately it was after my vote had been put in.
All right.
So
Apparently there's some more discussions about it today in their Snapchat group, possibly a dynasty now is involved.
They're trying to Trojan horse the expansion into other things that they want. But anyway, so you saw the list. We went over it. You don't have any objections to adding the tight end to the flex position.
No,
Raising the buy-in to 200, I think, was the winning vote.
Was that finalized?
It was majority.
Yeah, it was like 8
to
2
2.
other guys voted for something.
It sucks for me. It's just me giving more money to you guys, but I don't care. It's fine.
Bobby, you were in the finals a couple years ago.
I was.
Yeah, second highest points last year. Just missed the playoffs.
Rob beat me, I think.
That 2016. Yeah, it was Rob. We are also looking at changes to the way we do our waiver wire system. We do a free agency budget. So much like the auction draft, you're going to have a set amount of money for the full year. And, when those waivers go through, it's going to be kind of like a Chinese silent auction on Monday night where, you and I both want a guy. I'm going to bid $10. You don't get to know what I bid. So it's what she's worth to you. You either one up me overpay. You might put 15 when you could have got him for 11, or you put 9 and I win him with 10. So it's kind of like, how much do you value the guy at that point instead of, the people who are just sitting at the top waiting to strike. And then, it eliminates those guys. Like Joe had 4 guys on IR last year, and he was constantly going back to that waiver. So he could never get one of those top guys because he was always using his waiver wire, and he was always at the back of the line. So, that's something else that I don't know if it's been, it's been approved. Is that something you feel strong with or have questions about?
So everyone would be given, say, $100.
Correct.
Right.
Like free agency bucks or whatever.
Right.
Yep.
Do you get to see what people offered if they missed out after?
Yes, there is a way to see it. Not on the app, but I know you can look up that information if you're on a desktop view.
Yeah. You'll see what everyone bid and who won the bid.
Yeah. And you'll also this is just for that. This is just for that Tuesday night bidding too. Like, if Wednesday morning comes and you go to that thing, it's free again. It's all the normal pick them up as you please. But that initial waiver wire on the Tuesday night would be the only one that went to
right.
Yeah, but anything else, if you're picking up a kicker, you don't have to pay money for the kicker if you just wait till Wednesday. You pick up the kicker as normal.
Right. Running back or whatever. Because got hurt.
And then
it sounds like it adds another strategy to it.
Right, because much like the auction drafts now, you kind of, what is your value to how you're building your team? We'll also do the waiver wires like that, and some people are pretty excited for that. And the last one we talked about 3 wide receivers, which is kind of on hold because we can't do 3 wide receivers. We would add a third starting wide receiver, and we'd eliminate a bench position. But again, this is all predicated on if we don't go to 14 guys. Because if we go to 14 guys, we can't add a bench spot, or we can't add a starting roster spot, but we would still have to remove a bench spot. But we're getting IRs this year, so that was another change.
We'd have to remove a bench spot if we went to 14 guys.
Yeah.
Two bench spots is what we proposed.
Oh, yeah. So instead of everybody holding 16 guys, you'd only hold 14. You'd have 14 total. Now, just kind of eliminate people from holding on to 6 wide receivers that they're not even using. Kind of spread it out. No one's going to hold on to 2 defenses anymore because half the defenses are going to be used every week.
Yep.
So is the 14 team expansion, is that kind of dead now? I mean, is it?
It's tied 6-6.
I know that, but is it bring it up again, or is it like, hey, it didn't pass?
So
we're waiting next year now? Is that the thing?
So what we voted on for expansion yesterday was just to see if there was an interest, and being that there's 6 owners that are interested, we've reached out to people that we thought were interested. Those guys that we thought were interested were Sam Delpra, Zach Poucher, Joe Burrell, Whitey was actually brought up, and Anthony Angelata. I reached out to all 5 of them yesterday. With the exception of Zach Poucher, the other 4 were all very interested. So we do have a dilemma. One of the issues that was brought up with this, I think it was Ammo and Kiefer are for expansion. However, they're not for having to choose between 4 of our friends. So that's the problem they have. So right now we've got 4 guys that are interested to join us, but we don't have a solution on how to pick them.
Like a Olympic decathlon.
Right.
Yeah, beer Olympics or something.
There were some things thrown up. There'd be a D League. Some people had talked about. We'd let them fight it out in like an 8-man league, and we could take the top 2.
Or do you do like a FanDuel? Like, I don't know if that's how FanDuel works.
You can kind of do a FanDuel thing. Like I played FanDuel with like Sammy and Anthony and Impoletti and those guys, so I kind of gauge what their interest is because that's a whole nother group of guys I got to jump on who don't set their lineups. So I can tell who cares enough to like be like, I'm keeping up with it. Not I'm starting Matt Stafford even though he's had a broken neck for 3 weeks, kind of guys.
So who would you want in then, Tom? Well, first of all, did you vote for expansion or no?
I voted for.
For it?
I guess I didn't. I guess I said I wanted Sam, and my other pick would have been Burrell. But again, I don't have anything against Whitey or Anthony. Again, we do a process. I want people who want to be engaged in the league, who are gonna, be excited. I guess the fresh blood. I guess is what I want to say.
It definitely add a new element.
Right. Yeah, I think it'd be different for everybody. And one of Joe's other bigger points is, like you saw this year, when people get bunched up with the same scores or the same records, if for some reason we'll only take head-to-head if you've played an equal amount of games. And you'll see in Joe's PowerPoint, Nick actually was tied with me, Joe, and Nick. We all had the same record at 7-5. Nick's head-to-head record was 1-3. Me and Joe were both 2-1. And since Nick didn't have an equal amount of games played against us, like me and Joe did, it automatically went to points. So even though Nick had a 25% win percentage and me and Joe both had, was it 67% win percentage, Nick automatically got the 5 seed, and me and Joe were pushed down to the bottom. And the same thing happened up top, where the top 4 seeds all had they all had the same record. But since they all didn't play each other the exact amount of times, it just went by points, where it kind of sucks where head-to-head doesn't matter at that point, even though, again, Nick didn't beat Joe once all year. He split with me, and I beat Joe, and it just kind of spit it out with how many points who had, and,
Yeah, it defeated the purpose of head-to-head, and it went just to points, which I'm a points guy, so I think Nick should have been up there. But if we're a points league, then the head-to-head should be points, not overall record. So it's kind of the system we have in place now is kind of wishy-washy, and it affected all 11 owners this year. The only owner it didn't affect was wasn't Bob. Who was it? There's one
Robbie.
owner.
I think it was Robbie.
With somebody. Maybe Rob. No, Rob was
one of the ones at the top.
No, it's the middle guy.
There was one person that didn't have the same record. So, but anyways, we get with expansion, there'd be 14 guys, 13 weeks to play, and everybody would play each other once. It'd be a true head-to-head. So there would be no reason to go to points because everybody had an opportunity to play each other once in a perfect schedule.
No.
It'd be nice. It'd be nice to not play anyone twice, I think.
Yeah.
Well, it's a very rare circumstance where if it's a 3-way tie that those 3 owners will actually have played each other the same amount of times. It's almost impossible.
Well, they almost couldn't because, like I said, Nick's 2 matches, Nick's 2 double ups were me and Joe, which is why he had 4, but mine was only against Nick and Joe's were only against me. So that was the only reason why we had 3. We only had 3 games played total, and Nick had played me and Joe twice. So again, even though he had if he would have been 3-1 against us, God bless him, he deserved that 5th seed. But at the same time, he didn't beat me or Joe all year, so same record, and it went to a different tiebreaker. For sake of time, do you have anything to say about SEDs, PESs, software that some owners may or may not be using to gain an edge?
I don't see how you could stop someone from doing it, and if everyone has the access to do it, it's not necessarily it's just extra research, right? I mean, that's the kind of way I see it. Using another, I don't know anything about them, so correct me if I'm wrong, but it's it's a game of chance here, fantasy football. So it's not like
some of the information is not really going to change one way or the other for some owners. If Chase doesn't want to, look something up, then, that's on him as far as I'm concerned. Other guys don't understand that a lot of this stuff is the free, like the trade simulator. That stuff's free. I mean, you don't even have to pay for that. They'll tell you if a trade's good or bad. If you just put in your guys, it's just something I usually just bring to the table. Just try to let people know I'm not. Some guys are shy and they think you're getting ripped off, and I'm like, well, here's what the experts say. It's a fair trade either way. Just if you're interested, we can do it. But
Yeah. I mean, I don't see a problem with using that as a resource to try to find out more.
Bob, have you ever used SEDs?
No, I think Dom, when he was trying to rip me off on some crazy trade, would send me some skewed version of something a couple times.
I've never ripped anybody off on a trade.
No, I think you did send me like, hey, this is
a good trade. You should do it.
What does
this mean?
But
we got a gift.
Oh, nice.
All right. Well, let's move on. Joe, let's hit some of these ones quicker.
All
Skip over
I'll hit
question.
this one.
Yeah,
I'll hit this one quick. Let me hit it quick. You cannot ask Bobby this. Bob, there's 4 owners that don't have a championship ring yet. Obviously, we have 2 of them here on air live with us right now. God forbid something miraculous happens and one of you 2 or one of the other 2 that aren't on air wins one. Who's going to win it and why? And if you pick yourself, let's play it. Let's have a little fun with it. Pick somebody that other than yourself as well, if it wasn't you.
I wasn't going to pick myself anyways. I'm never picking Dom. Dom's definitely going to be the last. There's no doubt.
We can only hope, because once Dom gets one, the league's going to burn.
Dom's going to quit. When Dom wins, he'll quit. I'm good.
I'm not quitting.
So who are you picking, Chris or Paul?
I would say Ammo. Ammo would be next. He always seems to put a decent amount of time into it. He knows his stuff, so I'll say Ammo. It's pretty remarkable that no one has repeated it away. It's
that's the real anomaly here.
It's pretty hard to do. I would imagine there aren't many other leagues that would say that.
Yeah, 8 years, 8 different eight different champions. That is.
The question should be who's going to be the first owner to win to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Kiefer. I feel like Kiefer's in the championship every year.
Yeah, the Kiefer and Robbie, I think, have the most championship appearances.
Rob seems like he's always in there too. Yeah, but I feel good about saying Ammo would be the next out of the 4 of us.
Well, I'll remember that when I prove you wrong, Bob. You'll get a text.
That's fair. You can, I'm sure you'll replay this and send it to me. Fine.
Speaking of owners getting rings, with 3 more of our league mates getting engaged this year.
Yeah, what a big year!
It's a big year. That leaves 6 other guys. Dave, Dean, Chris, Rob, and Ross.
Chase.
Without wedding rings. If something miraculous would happen, one of them get engaged, who would you pick?
Who's the next to get engaged, or who's the last to get engaged?
Why don't you ask both?
Yeah,
who's the next and who's the last? Go
next first, and then last.
I would assume Ammo would be next. Sorry, put pressure on you. I hope Gabby doesn't hear it and get some ideas. I don't have any insider information if it's like happening tomorrow or something. So yeah, I'll say Ammo being next and last. I think Ross has a hard time deciding. He's got all these women coming at him all the time. It's hard for him to just pick one. So I'll say Ross would be the last.
Even with Chase and his commitment problems?
Those are your words, not mine. And I know of no such thing. So.
Okay. Well, those are all the questions we had. So bonus question. Bob, you do understand you had the number 1 wide receiver and the number 1 running back, and you had the second most points, and you still failed to make the playoffs in a league that lets 8 out of 12 make the playoffs. Do you have
It's impressive.
Do you have anything to say?
Dom's all about the face-to-face, but that's simply luck. I had the most points against me or close to it. Did I not? Joe, look that up.
Give me a second.
Come on. That's what can I do about that besides trying to score? I know I was at least in the top half of scoring. So
no, you were second. You were like 100 points behind Ammo.
So, I mean, what do you want me to say? I don't make the schedule, right?
I mean, speaking of anomalies,
I know.
who is the number one running back and the number one wide receiver by a long shot?
Well, I spent a lot of my money. We're sticking with auction draft, right?
Yes.
It was pretty fun, and I know everyone thought I was crazy in the beginning, and I know I got lucky because I hit on both of my. Whatever I spent, like 60% of my money in my first 2 picks or whatever, but ended up working out.
And Kyler Murray, he hit on he hit some weeks, but there's also, he had some of those rookie games where he was like single digits. I think that's like a game he lost to me where you would have crushed me if Kyler Murray would have scored 2 more points, but he gave you like a 9-point game.
Yeah, he was tough.
Doesn't do
He was
much
tough
good.
to start. Yeah, he scored 6 or 30, not much. So
yeah, like he had like you said, he was either putting up 25 plus or he was 10 points.
So the statistics from last season for all the viewers and listeners out there, 3 out of the top 4 owners that had the most points scored against them did not make the playoffs, and Bobby was one of them. Bobby was ranked 3rd highest points scored against him last year. However, curveball at you, the person that had the most points scored against him was the league runner-up, Mike Kiefer.
There you go. Winners adjust. Mike adjusted. I did.
I don't know how he does it. Could be the drugs.
Could be the drugs. Got to play defense.
I'll hit him up and see where I could get some of my own. So.
Fantasy pros.
Fantasy pros. The fantasy footballers. The fantasy counselor.
Football counselor.
I mean, they're out there. They're begging to give away information. But all right, guys. I think that's it. I think we're gonna have to shut this down before it kicks us out, anyways. Bob, thanks for coming on. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you both. Thanks for letting me use these pink headphones.
You are our first live Zoom interview, so if anything goes wrong, we really don't know what we're doing yet. All we know is we have sweet backgrounds now.
Yeah.
So we're gonna stick with that.
And we got Mr. Lesigno on next week. He's been waiting. He's been begging to get on.
He wants dynasty leagues. But all right. Again, thanks, guys. And I will see you guys around.
All right, guys. Thanks.